Okay, so today I will walk you through the transport request management. So how we can move our transport from one client to another client or from one system to another system. So normally we move this transport from our development system to quality and from quality to production. Sometime we may have four systems. So first could be your development, second could be your quality, and third could be your testing, and finally we can have the production system. So how a transport can be moved from one system to another system. For this, we will be using a transaction code, and transaction code ID is SC01. SC01, and here you will have your user ID. After that, you will have the type of request. So we will have the customizing request and workbench request. So for the customizing, for the development or the configuration, we'll be using this customizing request. This workbench request, it is used by the webper. And after this, we have the status of this request. So if this request, we want to see with the status if it is modifiable or if it is lease. So what do you mean by the modifiable and lease? So we'll select both and we can display. Now in this, what we need to do, so you can just see these are the transport requests we have created, and here we have the request for the company code 2244. Then we have for other company code also. And likewise, you may also have the multiple requests for your multiple activities. For example, within the company code, you would have created the house bank, then you would have created some other configuration so that you can move. And how to move it for this, you can just see there is a plus sign. You click on this plus sign, and after that, you can see here we have a child request. This is called child request. So this is the parent request and this is a child request. When we are moving this transport request from one system to another, so first what we need to do in the development system, we need to first release the child request. And this is the child request. We can keep the cursor on this. You can just see here there is a release directly button. We can click on this release directly button. After some time, system will start showing you here tick sign. So tick sign means this has been released. And once the child request gets released, we can go for the parent request release. So you can just see the message. It is saying this child request has been released. Now we need to go for the parent request, and here we can just see there is a tick mark. Okay. So under this child request, we can also see the object we have worked on. So you can just see if I just click on the list of requests. So we have made here the posting and we have assigned the account for the account under the account determination. Then we have also worked on the dunning procedure. Then we can just go down and here we can just see the assignment of accounting principle to valuation area, and we have the valuation method. Then we can also see we have made the changes in the company code, foreign currency valuation, document splitting, new general ledger accounting, and so on and so forth. Now we can go up and we can keep the cursor on the parent request. And if in the parent request, you can just see you have the text like this and you want to make the changes in the text. So what do? You keep the cursor on this and then there is a change button. So we can double click on this. And after that, we need to go to the properties and then we can go to the change button. So you can just see here, we can make the changes with the text. If initially you have written some text which needs to be changed, so we can change it here. So for example, this is version 1 and then we can save it and we can go back. So now you can just see this v.1 is coming and now we can move it to the next level. So for this again, do the same thing, keep the cursor on this parent request and then click on the release directly button. And once it gets completed, what will happen? So it will start showing you under the release status. Now you can just see this is our release status and system has started showing you a tick mark for this parent request as well. And now you can just see the same request has been removed from the modifiable category. Now it has come to the release category. So if you go back and check your 2244 company code configuration transport, so it will not show you under the modifiable. So I'm clicking on the back arrow option. We can run SC01. And now I want to display modifiable first, display. So you can just see that 2244 transport system is not showing you ending with 20. Now we can go back and we want to see the release request display. So you can just see here we have this release request. So what does it mean now? This has been moved to the next level. So the next level may be your quality or your transport system. So in that we will be able to see this configuration data or whatever the changes or development we have made under this request. We will be able to see that change in the next system. So if the data will be removed from this system, answer is no. Data will remain here, but what we want to do, so we want to move the same data to the next level so that in the next level, so maybe it is a quality or it is a test system or it is a training system. So on that, we will be able to do the unit testing. We will be able to do the SIT testing, system integration testing, and also we will be able to allow the business to do the UAT testing, user acceptance testing. So they will be able to do this testing and we will be able to do the testing in the next level if we will be able to move the changes to that quality system. Otherwise, we will not be able to carry out our testing activities. Now we can just go back. So if you want to move the transport request from one client to another client, so for example, if I just log off and I show you, we are working on the client 800. So if I just log in the real time, your development system would have the ID as 100. Then if you want to do any kind of testing, then for the test system, you may have the another client within the development that may be 110 or that may be 120 or that may be 130. So how within the development system, you will be able to move your transport request from one client to another client. For that, we can use transaction code SCC1. So here you can just see we have the client ID 800. Likewise, in the real time, you may have the client ID 100 for your golden client, for your configuration client. And after that, you want to do the unit testing. So here we can run transaction code SCC1. Actually, here the authorization has not been given. Let me use some other system. Now you can just see here 100 client, 200 client, 400 client. Okay, so in the real time also you will have these types of client through which you will be able to move your data from one system to another system. Now I'm using the same transaction code ID here, SCC1, and we can just click on it is saying that in actually this is the new system, so the transaction code has been updated as SCCN. So let's go with SCC1 only. Now here it is saying that what's your source system. So from where you want to transport the TR. So we need to have here our development client ID, which is, for example, it is 100. Actually, after entering your source ID, okay, so what you need to do, you need to have here your transport ID, which you want to transport from your 800 client to, for example, 900 client or 100 client to 110 client. So here you need to put that transport ID. Okay. So after that, you need to first test it. You can click on the start immediately. And if all the things are fine, you can remove the test run and then click on the start immediately. After that, what will happen? So whatever the configuration you have made in your development client 100 system, so that you will be able to see in your next system that would be a unit testing system. It may be again 110 or 120 or 130. So this is how within the development system we will be able to move the transport from one client to another client. So you need to put it here your TR. After that, you need to select this checkbox, include the task in the request, and then click on the start immediately button. Now we can just come out of here. And here you can just see this 100 we can use as a sandbox, and then we have the 200. Likewise, in the real time, you will be given the system. So 100 may be your development or golden client. Then 110 may be your next unit testing client. then 200 may be your quality or training client, and after that you will have your production client. So once we have moved the data from one system to another system, how we will be able to track it that, okay, in the new system, in the target system, the transport has reached. So for this, what we need to do, we need to use here a transaction code. It is SC16N. Why we use this transaction code? Actually, whatever the data we maintain in the SAP system, it may be your configuration data, it may be your master data, it may be your transaction data. So all these set of data system has maintained in the background in the form of tables. So in the form of table, whatever the data we are maintaining under the development transaction or master data, so system has managed the data in the form of tables. Now, sometime it is possible that for the production client, that is a real system, so you may not be given the access to see all the screen. It may be your house bank screen, it may be your GL screen, it may be some other screen. So how we will be able to see that particular data? So through the table, we will be able to see that data. Okay, so I just want to show you the table related to transport request. And after that, I will also walk you through the table which we can use for the master data, development data, and for the transaction data. So let's have here the table for the transport request. And for this, we need to run transaction code SC16N, enter. Actually, before the XC16N, this is the new transaction code. We used to have only SC16. And in this, we again see the data. If we know the table name, if we provide here the table name. But SC16 is a better screen. It give you the more information. So here let's have here the new transaction code SC16N, and we need to have here the table ID. So the table ID we use for the transport request, it is E070. E070, press enter button. You can also see here it is giving you the text information for this table, that under this we have the transport system header information for your request slash task. So if you know your request ID, you can put it here request ID, and after that you can click on the execute button. So if that request is coming, for example, like this request is coming, it means now your request has moved to the next system in which you are finding it. And if it is not here, then it means that the transport is yet to be reached to that system. So here it will give you the type of request. So here we have that workbench request. W is for the workbench, and for the customizing, we will have the different type. So here, if I don't want to have the W workbench, will show us the customizing one. So not equal to W, and then execute. So here we have the D, press F4 key, and W is for customizing only, sorry. And for the workbench, we have the type as K. For customizing, we have the W only. Now after that, we can just come out of here, and also if I just go back and remove this entry and execute. Now for each of your requests, system will also show you like date and time when this request has reached to the system. So you can have that timestamp and date also for your TR. So we can now come out of here. And for this, we can also have another table. It is E071. So I'll share with you all the table information, and that I will give you the file for this table. So here you can just see here, it is asking the transport or request ID. So this way we can also see some more information about it. Now we can just go back, and this is the information we have about the TR. Now we need to work on the tables. As I just shared with you, we have three set of data. One first is your development, second is your master data, and third is your transaction data. So under the development, we have any kind of development, any kind of configuration we have made, whether it is related to the foreign currency valuation or house bank creation, or it is related to the asset accounting, or it is related to the AR accounting, dunning. So all that dunning, all that development or the configuration data which you have made. So for each of your development, SAP has given a standard table, and in that standard table, SAP keep that information. And how we can view that information? So for that, we need to again go to the transaction code SC16N. SC16N. So here, for example, you have your transaction code ID. It is OBY6. So this OBY6 transaction code we use to see the global data, company code global data. So for example, we are working for the company code 2244 and then we want to display it. So this is the data we have. Okay. Now, if we have not been given the access to this screen, so how we can view this data? So for that, we will have the table view, and through the tables, we will be able to see this data, how to see it. For this, I'm going to open a new screen and I will use transaction code SC16N. And after that, I will be using here the table for this global parameter, which is T001. T001, and after that we can click on the execute button. If you want to put it here, your company code ID, it's fine. And after that, you can click on the execute button. So system is going to show you the information for only this company code. So we can just see here, we have the company code ID, name, city, country, currency, language. After that, we can also see the assignment. So we can see here chart of account assigned to this company code fiscal year variant. Then we have the company ID. So company ID is nothing but your trading partner. And after that, we can also see here the controlling area has been assigned under the option number 2. Then we can also see here the proposed fiscal year checkbox is selected if it is the X mark. If it is blank, then that checkbox has not been selected. So this kind of data we can see here, field status variant, posting period variant. So this is how we can make the use of the table. Likewise, for the house bank creation also, you have been given the table. So I will once again, I will share with you a file, and in that file, you will be able to see all the important table information. So all this table, we are not supposed to remember it, but yes, if you will keep using it, then you will be able to recall them. And here we can have the table for the, we can see here now the table for the house bank, and it is okay, this TSTC table we can use in case you want to see, you want to find out any transaction code. So for that, SAP has maintained all the transaction code data under this table called TSTC. Press enter button, and after that you can click on the execute button. If you want to find out all those transaction codes starting with the letter F, so you can put it here F, and after that you can put it here the asterisk sign and then execute. So here you can just see it has given you all the transaction codes which are starting with the F, and you can just see here it has given you a limit of 500. If you want to remove that limit where it is showing, so if you go back, you can just see here it is going to show you only 500 records. But if you want to see more than that, you just remove this restriction, and after that you can click on the execute button. So you can just see here we have 7,556 transaction code, and we can just see each of the transaction code. Just go down. All these are related to finance or starting with the letter F. Okay. Then if you go back, you want to see, you want to find out a transaction, customized transaction code. So always for the customized transaction code, which is client specific. So we give the ID starting with Z or Z, and it may be Y. So let's start with the Z and then click on the execute button. We can put it here asterisk sign. So here it will show us all the customized transaction code or starting with the letter Z. Likewise, we can also have the letter Y, put it here asterisk sign, and then we can click on the execute button, and it will give you all those transaction codes starting with Y. Okay. Then we can come out of here, and now we can go to the table which will give us the information about the house bank, and the table ID we can search it. I'm not able to recall it. So here we can search house bank table in SAP, enter. So here we can just see we have the table, it is T012K and T012 only. Okay. So let's search with T012K what information we have under it. T012K, enter. So here we have the house bank account. If you want to see the house bank account for a specific company code, you can put it here, that company code. And if you have a particular range for your company code, you can apply here the range also. So for example, from 2244 to 2299. So it will show you the house bank for all these company code. And after that, we need to click on the execute button. Here we need to just keep the cursor on the company code 2244 only and execute. Actually, we don't have here the house bank for 2244. Let me just search for all the company code. So here you can just see there are 2,888 house banks we have, and company code wise it is showing you. So here for the 0001, then 5, then again just go scroll down. It will show you the house bank for each of your company code. If you want to search for a relevant company code, you can put it in that company code ID, and then it will show you the information. So what information we can see here under this table? So we can see here the house bank ID, then account ID, bank account number, currency. We can also see the GL information. For example, here we have the GL information. Then after that, we can just see the description also for that house bank. Okay. Now, if we want to go for the table T012 only, and here again we can search for all the company code. In this will not have here the GL information, account ID information will not be able to get it. Only the house bank information will be provided. So under the house bank, what we have the country ID, we have the bank key ID. So this is how we will be able to like get the data related to any kind of development we are doing. Okay. Likewise, you will have the table for dunning for some other activities also or other development. Now, the next is your master data. And if you want to see the master data, so what are the master data we use? We use the GL master data, then we use the vendor master data, customer master data. We have the asset master data, material master data. So for each of these material or for each of these master data, SAP has given us the table. And let's start with the GL master data. And for the GL master data, we have been given the table as it is SKA1. SKA1. So this is the table we have for the GL. And remember this GL we maintain at two level. General data we maintain at two level. First is your chart of account data. Second is your company code data. And this table information which we will be using. So this table is going to give us the information at which level? Only at a chart of account level. If we want to see the information for the company code level, that is the second level. For that, we have been given another table. Okay. So let's search for this chart of account ID 2244. And after that, we can click on the execute button. So you can just see system has given you the information for this chart of account. We have this GL and how many are the balance sheet accounts. So you can just see the X mark. So it means these are the balance sheet account. How many are your profit and loss account? You can just see here. We have the 80. 80 means profit and loss account type. And we can just see here the X sign means these are all your P&L account. And after that, we can see the account group information, when these were created, by which user ID these were created, what are the number we have, what are the short text, long text. So all this information we'll be able to get it here under this table. Now, likewise, if you want to see the information for your second segment, that is your company code segment. So you can just put it here, the table ID SKB1, and after that you can put it here the company code ID and execute. Click on the execute button. So you can just see for this company code, we have maintained these many GL. And again, we have the creation date, we have the user ID date, we have the user ID information. And here we can also see the information we have at a company code level, that is your field status group and also the currency. Then what are the reconciliation account? You can just see we have the reconciliation account for the vendor. Then for which GL you have selected the relevant to cash, for which GL you have selected the line item display, for which GL you have selected the open item management. So all that information you can just see OI management. So here we don't have selected any open item management for our GL, which we can just see on this screen. In this is a list of the GL. Then if you have the posting block, so it will show you the X mark. It means that GL has been put it for the posting block. Then the sort key we can just see for each of the GL. So this is how we'll be able to get the information. This is about the GL account. Okay, same way we can go for the vendor, customer, asset. So for the vendor, we maintain the information at two level: general data, company code data, and sales data. And for each of these segment, SAP has given us the standard table ID. Customer account type, it is KAN1. KAN1. You can just see it is going to give you the information about your customer at which level, at a general data level. So we can see here all the customer we have in this system. So we have 19,775 customer on the system. And we can just see the general information. Under the general information, we have the name, address, contact detail, bank information. So this is the information we maintain, the tax jurisdiction, and then we can go back. Same way, if you want to see the information for your customer at a company code level, so for that we have the table ID, it is KNB1. And after that, we need to put it here for which company code we want to see that customer information and then execute. So here we can put it here, the customer, let it be the company code 2266, execute. So this is the single customer we have created on which date with by which user ID, sort key we have here, a reconciliation account, we can see the information. So this is the information we maintain at which level, at a company code level. Now we can just go back. Likewise, you have the table for your vendor also. It is LFA1. This is the information system is going to show you for your vendor at which level, general data level. Likewise, we have LFB1. System is going to show you the vendor information at a company code level. So once again, if you want to search for 2244 and then click on the execute button, so it will show you the single vendor we have in this company code. But if you want to see for all, so we can remove the company code restriction and then execute. So we have in the system 2818. But before you come to this screen, you want to see only the count. So for that, you don't need to come to this screen. What you do, go back and you can click on the number of entries. It will show you the number of entry here only. You can just see it is showing you 2813. Okay. And after that, you want to see the detail for this 2813. For that, you need to click on the execute button. Now, whatever the data you have on this screen and you want to convert into the Excel file, so here you have been given the option that you will be able to export. You click on this button called export, and then you click on this option, first option, spreadsheet. So automatically it will be converted into the Excel format. Click on the continue button. So this is the Excel, MS Excel, continue. Now after that, if you want to apply pivot or VLOOKUP, so that Excel functionality you can use. System is going to ask you the location where you want to save it. So you can give the location for your local drive. So you can just see here it is asking for the location where we want to keep it. So we want to save it on the desktop with the name. This is what LFB1 report we have for all the clients, vendor data, vendors. Okay, so we can just click on the save option, click on the allow option, again allow. So you can just see system has converted the data into the Excel sheet. So we can just see here we have 2813 13 records. So first is your title bar. Okay. So here we can see the data in the Excel sheet. Now you want to use this Excel sheet, you will can do it. So we can just close this, and this is what we have about the table. Now, the next set of data, we have the transaction data. And for the transaction data, we use two important tables. And what are those important tables? So we have the counting entries, okay? And for each of the counting entry in the SAP, we have two segments. What are these two segments? We have the header segment and we have the line item segment. So for the header segment, we maintain SAP maintain the data under a standard table called it is BKPF. And in this, what we can see all the document we have posted for our company code. So we can mention here the company code ID and then click on the execute button. If you are going to see the information for a particular fiscal year, then you can put it here the fiscal year and then click on the execute button. So it is going to show you that how many documents are have been posted and what are the document type. And then we can just see the document date, posting date, period information. When these documents were entered, what is the timestamp? After that, we can also see the translation date, which we use for the foreign currency posting. Then we can just see with which user ID these were posted. What is the transaction code we have used to get this document posted. After that, we can also see the header text information, and then we can just scroll down. So we have the currency information, which exchange rate we have used. So if it is starting with the forward slash, it is the indirect. If it is not starting with forward slash, it is the direct rate. After that, we can go on the right side. So here we have the information about our local currency. So this is the information we have for your document header. Now, if you want to see the document line item information, for this we need to use again a standard table ID. It is BSEG, and after that we need to once again put it here the company code ID information. Then we have the fiscal year, and if you want to once again you want to see more than one company code, then you can select the range or you can select this multiple selection also. In that from the source you can copy and here you can paste it. So we can just cancel it and we want to see the information only for one company code. Execute. So you can just see here we have how many line item, 33 line item, and you can just see here for the document number one, okay, 1001, it is showing you two line item. So we have the line item 1 and line item 2. Again we have line item 1, line item 2, line item 1, line item 2. Here you can just see we have posted 4 line item under the document number 1004. We have posted 3 line item under the document number 1005. So this is the information which we can just see at which level, at a line item data level. And at a line item data level, what information we can see? We can see we can see here the posting key information, account type. So S we use for the GL account and H we have for the actually this S is for debit and H is for credit. You can just see D/C. So here we can use S for debit and H we have for the credit. After that, we can just see the amount in local currency. Then we have the GL currency amount and we have the name of the currency. So this is the information we can just see. And also you can see here we have the controlling area information. Next to the controlling area information, to which cost center we have posted it, then to which order we have posted this information. So all that line item data you will be able to see. Then again here we have the line item display option. Just come out of here. So this is the accounting document information we have seen. Now the next table, it could be the line item data table, and we have the line item data for the vendor customer. So for that we again use a table. You have that FBL one end screen, FBL one end screen. Okay. So for this FBL one end screen, you have your vendor, and for that vendor you normally see the line item. So here we have our company code 2244 and we see the line item information. It may be open, cleared or all. So here, if you want to see open line item only, or you want to see the clear line item only in the table, so for that you can use here, you can use a table, and table ID is BSIK. BSIK, it is for the company code 2244, and then we can click on the execute button. So we have 4 line item. We can go back. We can check the open item. You can just see here we have 4 line item, and these are open. So this IK table we use for the open. We have another table called BSAK, which is going to show you the information for your cleared line item BSAK. And we have our company code ID once again 2244 execute. So we have 2 line item here. Now let's go to the cleared line item, and we can click on the execute button. So you can just see here we have the 2 line item. So we have the document number here. You can just see 2 all 03, 4 all 01, 2 all 03, 4 all 01. So this is when you don't have the access for this kind of transaction code and you want to see the data. So through the table also you can get the table, you can get the information. And sometimes this table and this field information we need to share with our technical team so that we can give them the logic and they can work on some customized task. It may be the customized report, conversion of any data. So on this, we need to have the information about the table. Now, for any field, if you want to see the information, what is the technical name for that field? So for example, what is the technical name for this document number field? So this is a label, okay? This is a label. Now we want to see the technical information. For that, what we can do, we can go to this question mark, help, and after that, we can click on this technical information, and here it is going to show you the table name, and it is also showing you the field name. So field name we can just see it is Belnar, and the table name it is BSOK. Okay, so this is a technical name which you can share with your technical team, ABAP team, so they would be able to get this information from the system. Likewise, we maintain the open item, cleared item for the vendor, and for this, you need to only use the last account type. You need to replace it with the D. So here we will be using BSAD, that is for the cleared line item for your customer, and BSID, which is for the customer open item. So these are the important tables we have, but we have a long list of tables so that I'll share with you. Now we can just come out of this table information and we will see in the real time if you will be getting the tickets. So how or through which software we get those tickets. So here, so whenever you are working as a consultant for any client, that client may be using some ticketing tool. That client may be using some ticketing tool for the day-to-day issue. In the real time, normally we use ServiceNow, or it may be Remedy Force. There is a ticketing tool by IBM also, and we have Sharewell. So these are the ticketing tool we have, but normally nowadays we use this ServiceNow. So whether you are using ServiceNow or you are using Remedy Force, any ticketing tool, so what you will get the work, and what kind of work it is. So we'll be getting 2 types of work. We'll be getting the incidents, and we may also be getting the service requests, and these are also known as change request. Change request. So what's the difference between the incidents and service or change request? Incident, it doesn't require any TR, it doesn't require any development. So in this, whatever the fix you will be doing, so that has nothing to do with the transport movement. So here you will not be doing any configuration in the development system, then you pass to the quality, then they will be testing, and then finally you will be moving to the production system. So incident may be some kind of issue they are having. It may be posting while posting the data, while displaying the line item data. So for example, a particular field they want to display on the screen so that they are not able to see. And while posting the document, they are getting some kind of error so that we need to fix it. So these are covered under the incidents. And after that, we have the service or change request. So under this service or change request, whatever the task we will be given, so those tasks are related to the transport request. Those tasks are related to the development. Under the development, what we need to do? So we need to first configure the data and then configure the data in the development system. So for the example for this service or change request could be creation of new house bank, new house bank. And also, let's say they want to use the automatic payment program. They want to use the automatic payment program. And if they are already using the automatic payment program, they want to make the changes in that. So that cannot be done through the incident. So for that, we will be having a change request. And under the change request, we will be doing the development. And first, what we'll be doing, so again, I have shared with you. So first, we'll be doing the configuration on the development system. Then we will be doing it unit testing. Then we will be moving it to the quality system so that we can again do the unit testing on the quality system. And we can also get the UAT done from the client, from user acceptance document, we can get it from the business. After that, after taking the approvals, we can move it to the production system. We can move that development to the production system. And after that, we can ask the client to just check it. And if all the things are fine, then we can close this change request. So what are the statuses we may have for the incident for the service request? So incident we will be having when we will be getting it, it would be open. When this incident will be created by the user, by the business, the status is going to be open. And once it is open, so the team, there would be a help desk team who will be tracking all these tickets and they will be also assigning these tickets to the relevant consultant. So for example, if there is a ticket raised by the user and it is related to finance, so the team is going to assign the ticket to the finance team. So here the status for that ticket is going to be assigned assigned. And after that, that functional consultant, that FI consultant who would be working on this, so he can just change the status as in progress. So he's working on it in progress. And after that, if they need any input, so here we can go for the user information required. User information or user input is required. And if the user information is not required, we have fixed it, then we can go for the next status. It may be UAT. So user can just check it or unit testing can be done. And after that, finally, we can resolve it. We can we can close the ticket, and for the closing, we can give the status as a resolved. And once it is resolved, so it may be resolved for 3 days. It may be resolved for the 3 days. So status is going to be resolved for the 3 days. Now, during these 3 days, user has the option to reopen the ticket. To reopen the ticket. And if they have not reopened the ticket, so they are convinced with the solution. So the automatically the status for this ticket will be closed after 3 or 4 days. Automatically the status will be closed. So this is the status we may have for the ticket that may be related to the incident, and the same kind of ticket we status will have for the change request. Now, when we will be getting the task incident, so for the each of the incident, we may have the priority also. So what is the important ticket which we need to focus first? So for that, we have been given the priority, and this may be the P1 ticket, P2 ticket, and for each of the ticket priority, we have been given the timeline also. So for example, for P1, that is the most critical ticket, it should be resolved within 6 to 12 hours. It should be resolved within 6 to 12 hours. And what kind of P1 ticket we have? Who is going to give this P1 status? So P1 ticket means that kind of issue which has stopped all the client operations. all the client operations are shut down. That is a kind of a P1 ticket we have. So client is not able to work on the production system. Production means production activity, then HR, then we have finance, we have controlling, then we have sales and distribution, extended warehouse management. So all these areas are shut down. So that is the kind of P1 ticket we have. And it should be resolved. Again, it is subject to the contract. So it should be normally 6 to 12 hours. After that, we have the P2 ticket. So P2 ticket, it should be resolved within 12 to 24 hours. And this is a kind of issue which is only hitting a particular vertical. This may be finance, this may be production, this may be HR, or this may be some other functional area. So it should be resolved within 24 hours. And after that, we have the P3, P4 ticket, which for which this is related to some specific area, and the criticality for this ticket is not very much if we compare with the P1, P2. So for that, we may be given some extra time. So it may be 1 to 2 days we will be given to get this ticket resolved. Then for the P4, we may have like the days 4 to 6. And for the P5, we may have again like within 7 days we need to close it, we need to fix it. So that kind of ticket statuses we may also getting ticket priorities we will be getting for the incidents. That's it. So this is what we have related to the transport management, ticket solutioning, and issues which we'll be getting from the client, okay, and table information. So this is our last class. Okay, so with this we are done with the training. So now you can do the hands-on. You can keep like doing the practice.